On a tabletop as blue as the Aegean Sea, the gods of Olympus, who look suspiciously like the player's hand, begin a new game. Down below stands a white stone citadel, edged with gleaming gold. Troy, the jewel of the East, the pride of King Priam. A wealthy city ringed by unbreakable walls, where every merchant dreams of entering, and every conqueror dreams of bringing to its knees. A tiny boat appears on the table. On that little boat are two people who are about to set an entire age on fire. Paris, Prince of Troy, handsome, young, and just a bit irresponsible. And beside him, Helen, a woman so beautiful poets swear that a single glance from her could distract the gods themselves. One face that launched 1,000 ships. That line is no exaggeration. Today, that very face will push the whole Greek world into the flames. The boat reaches shore. Troy's gate swings open to welcome them in, and then slams shut behind their backs. On the far side of the sea, the gods, or rather the player's hand, are not about to just sit and watch. Blending into waves and creaking wood, each black bean hits the tabletop and swirls into a storm. In a blink, they transform into 1,000 Greek warships, charred black hulls packed tight across the sea. At the head of that armada stands Agamemnon, king of Mycenae, a man forever hungry for glory and spoils. He doesn't really need a reason to start a war, but his brother's wife being stolen, that is a perfect banner to rally behind. Bring Helen back! That's the official slogan. The real reasons? Gold, renown, and a rich city lying right there for the taking. The hand sweeps forward, sending the whole fleet crashing toward the shore. The gods of Olympus smile. The bet has been placed. Troy has just stepped into a 10-year nightmare. Greek soldiers storm the sandy shore. Among thousands of warriors, one name shines brighter than all: Achilles. The hand of a god gently sets him down on the table, a warrior clad in golden armor, cloak billowing, hair like it's caught on fire. Achilles is no ordinary man. His mother is the goddess Thetis, who once dipped him into the river Styx to make him invincible. All of him is death wrapped in armor, except for one tiny heel. But today, no one cares about that heel, because on this battlefield, Achilles moves like a storm. He charges forward, shredding every Trojan formation in his path. Every thrust, every strike of Achilles is a death sentence. The sand turns red, the Trojans fall back and back, until their spines press against their own city walls. And then, thud, Achilles stops. Because standing before him is no longer nameless soldiers, but the walls of Troy itself, a masterpiece built with the help of the gods. His spear can't even scratch a single stone. Siege ladders, catapults, every engine of war, all of it proves useless. Troy is like a gigantic turtle. You can gnaw at its edges, but no one can break its shell. Days slip by, years slip by, and then 10 years. Tiny corpses pile up around the walls like grains of sand in a colossal hourglass. The burning ambitions that started this war slowly die down, leaving only exhaustion and bitterness. In the Greek camp, the air no longer smells of glory. It smells of sweat, rot, and politics. Achilles, the Greek killing machine, is no exception. After a bitter quarrel with Agamemnon over spoils of war, he withdraws from battle, retreats into his tent, and leaves his comrades to fend for themselves. 10 years. No victor, no loser. Only Troy, still standing, proud as if mocking even the gods. And the gods are starting to get bored. In this stalemate, a desperate decision is made. Patroclus, Achilles' closest companion, dons the legendary golden armor. The Greeks hope that if the enemy thinks Achilles has returned, their own spirits will rise again. But that is the choice that sends everything spinning out of the gods' control. On the battlefield, Patroclus, shining in that famous armor, becomes the biggest target of all. Hector, Prince of Troy, the city's greatest general, charges in. Hector is no monster like Achilles, but he is the city's shield, the hope of every Trojan watching from the walls. And in the split second between life and death, he does what he must. Hector cuts down the man he believes to be Achilles. When the helmet comes off, everyone freezes. That is not Achilles, it is Patroclus. In another corner, the player's hand, silent, godlike, lifts the Achilles figure out of the tent. He is placed beside his fallen friend. The Trojans' greatest mistake wasn't killing a Greek warrior, it was enraging the beast that had been sleeping. Achilles returns to the battlefield. No longer for fame, no longer for Agamemnon, not for Helen, not even for Greece. This time, he fights for the only thing that still means anything to him: revenge. Before Troy's gate, the two greatest names of both sides finally meet: Hector and Achilles. The battlefield is cleared. Shouts fade away, as if both armies are holding their breath in the palm of fate. The player's hand grips both tiny figures and hurls them toward each other. A spear is thrown. Time slows. Achilles' spear pierces Hector through the neck of his armor. The Prince of Troy crashes to the ground, a cloud of dust rising, then silence. Troy has lost its mightiest shield, but the fury is not finished. Achilles drags Hector's corpse 3 times around Troy's walls, under the horrified, helpless eyes of those watching from above. They cover their faces and weep, not just for their prince, but for their city's future. The gods of Olympus gaze down. The guardian has fallen, yet Troy's walls still stand. And as always, when brute force fails, the game moves to a new level: deception. A quiet morning. No war horns, no clashing blades. When the Trojans look out from their walls, they see something they haven't seen in 10 long years. The entire Greek army is gone. The beach is empty. Only sand, waves, and one strange object lying alone on the shore. The player's hand sets it down on the table. A massive wooden horse, its body patched together from rough planks, as if hastily built from stripped-down ship timbers. To the Trojans, it is a mystery. To the Greeks, it is the deadliest weapon they have ever crafted. To the gods, it is a prank for the ages. When strength fails, use cunning. This is the moment when Odysseus, the most devious mind in the Greek ranks, steps firmly into legend. Some Trojans are suspicious. The seer Laocoon even cries out, "I fear the Greeks, even when they bring gifts." But in stories like this, clear-eyed warnings are usually drowned out by curiosity and pride. The city gate swings open. The Trojans jubilantly haul the horse inside as a trophy of victory. They believe the Greeks have finally given up, that the war is over. They drag their enemies straight into the heart of their own home. A bloody illustration of the phrase, "a Greek gift." If you could see through the wood, you'd witness a very different truth. Inside the horse's belly, Greece's elite warriors, Achilles, Odysseus, and their chosen men, are cramped together in the dark, holding their breath, waiting for the decisive moment. Outside, Troy celebrates. Inside, death is counting down. Night falls. Wine flows, music swirls. After 10 years of fear, for the first time, the Trojans let themselves believe the nightmare is over. And then, like every party in history, the noise slowly dies. The city slips into its deepest and final sleep. In the darkness, there is a tiny sound. Click! A wooden panel in the horse's belly is pried open. Tiny shadows descend on ropes, landing softly on the ground. While Troy sleeps, death awakens. The warriors from the horse move like ghosts. They silently dispatch the sentries, climb the inner stairs, and throw open the gate that has stayed shut for 10 years. Out there, in the darkness beyond your frame, the Greek fleet has already returned. They've just been waiting for this signal. The gates of Troy swing open. The predator has found its way inside. From the edge of the table, out of the shadows, Greek soldiers flood in like a tidal wave. This is no longer a siege. This is an execution. Troy's men scramble to fight back in chaos, but they wake up too late. They battle half-drunk, terrified, and hopeless. Up above, on the tabletop, the gods remain silent, watching in the flicker of the growing flames. The player's hand flicks open a lighter, a tiny, trembling flame. But as soon as it touches wooden roofs, hanging cloth, and doors, it becomes a storm. Troy is swallowed by fire. The once proud white walls are now blackened, cracked, collapsing piece by piece. Screams, sobbing, the crash of falling stone and burning timber all blend together, yet sound as if they're echoing from a distant past. Men are slaughtered, women are taken as slaves. A brilliant civilization wiped out in a single night. The flames don't just burn buildings. They burn memories, stories, and the dreams of an entire people. As the ashes cool, the table is nothing but ruins. Troy is gone. But fate is rarely cruel enough to erase everything. From the rubble, a small cluster of survivors emerges. The player's hand gently lifts them up. A young man carrying his elderly father on his back, holding his small child by the hand. This is Aeneas. He is not the greatest warrior, not a king, not a hero sung about like Achilles or Hector, but he is Troy's last spark. The hand of the god places Aeneas and the survivors into a small boat and slowly pushes them away from the burning city. Troy has fallen, but its bloodline lives on. According to legend, Aeneas will sail to Italy, and from his descendants, another city will be born, an empire even greater than Troy and Greece combined, Rome. On the tabletop, the fire has died. Ash covers everything. The player's hand brushes away the wreckage, leaving only one object behind: the wooden horse, standing motionless, a symbol of the entire war and of the perfect trick. The camera slowly zooms into the horse's eye. In this story, the gods only needed one small push to bring a mighty city crashing down. But what if the hand on Troy's battlefield belonged to you? Would you be the unbreakable defender on the walls, holding out against the world? Or the cunning conqueror, sending in the sweetest gift your enemies will ever receive? History, in the end, is just the story told by the victor. But this time, that victor could be you. If you want me to break down more battles in LEGO style, like Cannae, Thermopylae, or Normandy, drop a comment below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss the next strategic dissection in LEGO form right here at Apex War Lab.